Should we start?
Yes.
So today I will talk about one of my favorite books, The Psychology of Money. And I have read plenty of books, more than 3 or 4 books on the business and how we should treat to the money, like Unsinkable or Think and Grow Rich or the founder of Nike, the Sue Dog. But the Psychology of Money book is very special because this book will never tell you that how should you invest your money in equity, debt, gold, whatever, or in which segment you should be more focused. Rather, this book will tell you how should you think about your money and how should you treat your rich life. Because everybody's rich life, everybody's definition for the rich life is different. Everybody is from the different economic zone. Everybody is very different from the perspective of income. So everybody have a very different psychology towards the money. So this book will never tell you that where you should invest the money, but it will tell you how should you treat with your money. So this book has 20 chapters. A lot of chapters are there. So I will try to cover the first 2 chapters, which are very important, which are the basics, how we should think about the consequences and how should we treat the decisions which we make towards the money. Different people take the different decisions. So the first chapter is No One is Crazy, and the second is Luck and Risk. So the first chapter is No One is Crazy. So how the sentence is No One is Crazy, like when we think about a problem, we have a definite format of solution. And as a tendency of human being, we think that if someone has failed to solve a problem, his solution was not correct, or if his solution was not similar to us, it was a coincidence he was successful. But the reality is, every single person reacts to the situation differently. Either it's a money or a different situation. Here we are talking about the money, so we can say that every people react to the money in a very different way. And we cannot say and we cannot be judgmental that he is a crazy. For example, we are thinking about the money or our decision towards our income is very different from our parents, and our parents have taken very different decision towards their income in comparison to our grandparents. So everybody take decisions not according to their situations only, but there are so many factors on which they are taking decision, and we cannot judgment and we cannot say that their decisions were a crazy one. Because you may be reading the books, you may be having so many situations currently, but you cannot ignore what experience that person has taken from the past. For example, in Australia they haven't seen a very big economical recession as America has seen time to time. 1960, 1929 they have seen big recession. So if you think how Australians are taking decisions in a stock market or in any economic point of view, it is very different from America. So we know about a stuff which other person may not know, and vice versa. For example, whenever we take a decision, it may be in the economic point of view or it may be any problem in our life. It's not only depend on our ability, but it also depend on our environment. Environment means the people we are working with, our friends, our family members, your office work area, everything influence your decisions and your past experience. So these 3 things are the main key factors which always affect your decisions. So nobody is having a particular decision for a problem or a money situation. They all have a different point of view. For example, there was a great depression in 1929 in America. This was called Great Depression because the economical crisis was so much that people were having no job. They were holding the horse behind beside their chest that we need a job. Even the educated people were wanting free foods because they were not having any savings in their account. That's why it was called Great Depression, because a lot of people were going through a depressed period. But everybody was thinking that the generation who was going through this crisis in 1929, everybody was affected with this Great Depression. Means nobody was unaffected by this Great Depression. They have some dent in their mind with this accident. But during 1960, when John F. Kennedy was running for the president election, one reporter asked him that what did he remember from the Great Depression, and his answer really shocked the whole nation because he said that I have no first-hand knowledge of the depression. He have never felt that any depression even happened. Why? Because he was living in a mansion. His father was very rich. And in contrast, during depression, his father increased the number of servants, he increased the number of gardeners so that he can help more and more people. So as a child, he never felt the depression. Though in a normal point of view, when we read the history, the first thing which comes in our mind was that everybody must have the dent of this incident. But that's not true. Everybody's experience is totally different, even though the environment is same. So, in a macroscopic way, the environment may be same, but in microscopic way, for an individual, the experience may be different. So everybody was thinking that because he was not having the experience of that depression, of that economical crisis, he should not win the race. He should not win the presidential war because he was not having understanding of the biggest economical crisis. But he won. John F. Kennedy won that election. Why? Because there was second emotional tent, which was every American feeling, was World War II, and he was a World War hero. So he was not having an experience of the economical crisis, but the second economical, not economical crisis, the emotional crisis, that then he really felt in a physical point of view. He was present in the World War and he won the election.
Nikhil,
So every time, yes, sir.
So in what sense was he a hero of Second World War? So was he a soldier in the army?
He was soldier. He was in a battalion of pilots, and
Okay.
in actually he invented some parts of a plane.
Okay.
So he was directly involved in the World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So in that time in 1960, people were having two very emotional incidents. One was economical crisis, and the second was World War II. And he was not a part of the economical crisis, but he was directly involved with the World War II, and that's why people elected him. So experience always matters. We cannot say that John F. Kennedy was crazy because he was not. He said that I have no idea about the Great Depression, and people were not crazy electing him because he was a part of the World War II, and they didn't give the chance of the second person of the opponent. So, is it true that we should always go with the situation? If the stock market is going high, we should invest, or if it's going down, everybody should take out. That's not true. Every individual investors take different decision, and it always depends on their past experience. In 2006, two economists were there who took the 50 years data and they compared how the different individual investors are taking decisions when they are putting their money in the stock market. This data is specifically for the stock market. How investors from a different age group are investing their money. So their expectation was, sorry, this is not pupil, this is pupil person. So their expectation were that pupils should make investment where their decisions are basically based on their goal. Like if somebody is planning for their retirement goal, or somebody is planning to purchase a house, purchase a car, or their decisions should be depend on their options, like how much money they are getting from different sources. Like somebody is doing job, somebody has a business, somebody is getting funds from the his parents or all. But the results were totally different. Most of the pupil, or the big part of the data, people were doing the investment and the decisions were depend on their past experience. For example, if we see this graph, the black graph, the upper graph, is for the people who were born after the economical crisis, the second economical crisis, which happened in 1960 in America. So 1970 born people, and the below gray color graph is for the people who were age of 10 or 15 during the crisis. So see, the gray color, the bottom graph, people are not investing that much even though they are having the same economical environment. Why? Because they have gone through a crisis. So they have a very different perspective for the money rather than those who have not seen the crisis. They are investing heavily during the age of 28 or 30s. They have no dent of the economical crisis, so they don't take money as a how should I say? They are more believing in saving rather than investing in a stock market. So they found that availability of the options or their goals, that is not the primary reason why people invest in a different stock markets or in a different amount of money. Rather, they invest with their past experience or how they felt in the last year. So now we will come to the second point, luck and the risk. So most of the time, who is hardworking person, they don't believe or very less believe in luck, and those people who are successful are called that they have taken a great risk, and maybe the luck was with them. Or somebody do not believe in luck in the normal life, but in stock market, everybody one way or another way believe in luck. So the thing is, in economy, especially when we talk about the economy, luck and risk are intertwined. Maybe in our day-to-day life, we don't see that word in a exact meaning, but somehow they are interconnected. For example, I will give one example that for Microsoft co-founder, we know two names, Bill Gates and Paul Allen. They were the co-founder of Microsoft, but there was a third person, Kent Evans, whose nobody knows. That person was very much involved in Microsoft, or maybe he was one of the co-founder of the Microsoft. But somehow, if you take a coin, one side is luck and one side the risk. He was not in the later side. I will talk about in next details about the Kate event, but first we will talk about the Bill Gates, who gave one statement that if there had been no Lakeside, there would have been no Microsoft. Lakeside was his school name. His high school name was Lakeside High School in Seattle. So I will tell you how luck works in every aspect of our life, especially if we are talking about the money. We cannot say that a successful person is a successful because just of his hard work. There is always some luck involved in this field. For example, this is the Lakeside School, which was in Seattle when Bill Gates was studying there. And this was the only school in the whole world which was having a computer in 1968, I think. And why there was a computer in this school, that was also not a coincidence. There was a pilot of World War II whose name was Bill Doggle. Because of his personal experience, his belief was that only reading books is not enough. We must have some kind of personal experience and the things which are going around. That's why he requested all the parents to pool the money and to request General Electric to install one computer in the school. So when the computer actually came into the profession, just after 3 years, he was a teacher, but he had some experience for the World War II. So he requested all the parents, and they heard him. They bought one computer, and it was not for their academic session. It was not involved in their result. It was a extracurricular activity in Lakeside School. And Bill Gates said in his documentary that if there would be no Lakeside School, there will be no Bill Gates or there will be no Microsoft. So it was a luck that he was studying in 8th grade and he got access to the computer in that time. Nobody else in the whole world got this opportunity. So if you see this picture, there were 303 million high school age people at that time. And out of them, there were 18 million high school students in United States. And out of 18 million, 2,70,000 people were in Washington State. But only 300 students were in high school in Lakeside School. So there is a probability that there are 300 out of 303 million people who can access the computer at that time. It means only 1 in a million people was having an opportunity to get to touch the computer. So if we are seeing a big company of Microsoft this time, the odds or the luck were 1 in a million. So Bill Gates was actually a lucky person whose odds were really good and who landed in Lakeside at that time. Now we will come to the risk part and how Cat Evans, we never see him or we haven't heard about him. Actually, Cat Evans was also there with Bill Gates and Paul Allen. And actually, he was the brightest student in his class. Kent Evans was the best friend of Bill Gates. Paul Allen was not the best friend of Bill Gates, and he was as much as skilled with the computers as Bill and Allen. But he was landing on the other side of the coin. He took the risk. He was a very famous person, and as well as the Bill and Allen during his high school, because there was a time there were so many courses in the Lakeside school that teachers were having a problem that every students were not getting a chance to attend a course which they want. There was so much overlap. So they asked Bill and Evans to make a computer program so that every student can get the access or they can choose the course as they want. And they made a computer program and it was successful. And the reality was, if Evans would be alive, he would be a part of the Microsoft this time. But what happened? In the age of 17, he went for mountaineering and due to an accident, he died. So actually, he was also a part of that journey, but he took the risk. He went for the mountaineering and he died. So if we see, there is always a risk which can be there when you are going through your path towards the success, but some people may have get more of the luck rather than the risk. Some people may get the equal, some people may get more of the risk. So if we think about the luck and the risk, we cannot measure them, we cannot do statistically, because whenever we talk about the statistics, we take a span, we take a particular range, and you may not be taking the exact range. So whenever we are thinking about an outcome in our life, every outcome is always guided by both the luck and the risk. We cannot uh, respect only one, we cannot ignore any of the rest. So that's why another writer, Thomas Stanley, has said that luck and risk are going hand to hand everywhere you are going with your life. You are taking a decision. You may be successful or you may not be successful. Hard work is always there, but there are two factors which are always playing a role, and that luck and the risk. So for every Bill Gates, there is Evans who are just as skilled and driven, but ended up on the other side of the life of the coin. Now we will see the add-on, another aspect, that in our day-to-day life, we actually respect some part of the successful people and we never see the other side. Or I have titled it respected and ignored, because you may say that it's our limitation of human mind, or you can see it's our tendency that we never see the whole picture, or we don't want to see the whole picture, that we can also phrase. If we think about the Thomas Alva Edison, roughly he has done thousands experiments which were failed, and one experiment he got successful to get the electric bulb. But you will never see a book which has encountered all the failed experiments, and I am pretty sure if that book will come, people will not be that much interested as they are interested in Warren Buffett book, which is a successful investor. Though everybody know that every success has learned something from the failure, but they don't respect the failure that much as they respect the success. And if we see, or if we say in another word, people respect the combination of luck and success rather than the risk and failure. This is a prime example. This is a MRF tire stock price. If you see in 2000, the stock price was 2,450 rupees. In 2000, that amount was not small, and that amount was not also very big. It is 2,470 in 2000. Just after 1 year, that price went down approximately one fourth. it became 500 rupees in 2001. So there would be plenty of people who may have sold their share. There may be a plenty of people who purchased the new share because it was down. But if you see that share was, the IPO was 1500 rupees and it came to 500 rupees, the most of the analysts, if you see at that time, were saying it's a riskier share. But if you see in 2023, that share is 1,10,000 rupees. So those who have taken risk, they may be failure from the 2000 to 2001, have changed to a lucky person who are luck plus successful. In 1 year, they were riskier and the unsuccessful people. So you may not, you cannot detach the risk and the failure from the luck and the success. You may say in the span or the statistics from the 2000 2002, those people were stupid, those people were crazy, their luck was not good when they were losing money one third, but now their money has got 100 times, or sorry, one maybe 500 times. So luck and risk, it's a perspective thing. When we talk about the economy, when we talk about our general life, with the hard work, obviously hard work is there, but it's not always the hard work. I can give you one example from my side also. In 2021, we purchased 7.5 bigha land, and we thought that we will cultivate groundnuts, because last to last year the price was groundnuts was really good, and we cultivated in 2 bigha 20 mango trees and 15 guava trees. And we were thinking we are lucky because we can sell a lot of groundnuts. In 4 to 5 years, guava will give fruits. After 10 years, mango will give fruits, and we will get the return in a very good amount. But the same year, flood came, and all the groundnuts were gone. Mango trees were very small, and they were gone. Some of the guava trees only landed. So, if we are not going to take risks, if we are not going to respect a failure, we are not going to land on the other side of the coin, or the combination of luck and success. So that's all for the today. Thank you.